What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tier Maker Rankum for Week 12 in the NFL season. I'm your observant lineman, Uche Nwaneri. Appreciate you guys so much for being here. Now, as you guys know, we're going to do this ranking, and we have our ranking set up on Tier Maker because I feel like they got a pretty good setup here in how they do their tier making format. But we are going to rank the Week 12 matchups, and we're going to assign tiers for each team based on their performance thus far in the season. And the tiers, as they're made up, are ranked from worst to best. Worst being your basement dwellers, and best being gotta see us first. And those are pretty those hold pretty much a general significance for where that particular team is right now in their season, and then just kind of in the state of the franchise itself. So, for instance, you got your basement dwellers. Your basement dwellers are the teams that seem to have no direction, that seem to be going into full rebuild mode, teams that are just floundering in the wind like a fart. And they're going to be your garden variety tank division teams. Then you have just trying to keep my job. These are the coaches who are underperforming to the point where there could be some question about whether or not they should be kept or whether they should be fired. So these are teams that are battling they have coaches that are likely battling to either get another shot for another season, or they're battling to validate that they were signed to the contract they have to begin with. Even though they may not be a candidate for being fired right now, they definitely could be a team that, decides to cut that contract short if they don't get things turned around really fast. Then you got your party crashers. These are the teams that have the potential to be a spoiler for another team fighting to get into the postseason. Not necessarily a team that's going to be in the playoffs themselves, but definitely a team that is, starting to build an identity, but doesn't quite have everything they need to be a real contender. Then you got your one win aways. These are teams that are in the midst of their division battles. Generally, they are one win away from taking control of their division, and they're generally teams that if they can get a little bit more consistency, then you're going to see that team begin to do much better. So, and then from there, you got good for a cameo. These are the teams that are kind of leading the pack in that wild card category. These aren't teams that we necessarily expect to make deep runs, but they might be able to surprise somebody and at least show up for a game in the playoffs. And if they don't, or if they do rather, then they'd be good for a cameo because they likely won't go past that first wild card matchup. Then you got the we should have a shot category. That tier is for teams that are really control their own destiny. These are teams that have control over where they're trying to go, and as long as they're able to maintain a winning percentage heading through the rest of the season, then these are going to be teams that are going to have a chance to get into a divisional or a conference championship round based on what we're seeing right now. And then you got the gotta see us first. These are the teams that are the perennial powers right now based on what we're seeing. It doesn't have to be an even number of teams, but there may be 4 teams in there before it's all said and done. There may be 5 teams really that could be, in a position like that. A number of teams could have those kind of spots. But generally those are the teams that are in full control in the driver's seat right now. But we'll go through this week's Week 12 matchups, and we'll rearrange these based on how a lot of these teams played in Week 11. And I'm sure, as you probably all know, there's going to be some swapping around for damn sure, because some teams, came through. And as we know, some teams just did not. So we'll figure out which one's which here now in this tier maker. And we're going to start it off. First game on the matchup schedule for Turkey Day tomorrow. We've got two matchups. And, for anybody who doesn't know at this point, I'm sure you've all seen the breaking news. The Baltimore Pittsburgh game, Baltimore at Pittsburgh, I believe it is. That game has been moved to Sunday. So that will be moved to Sunday. I guess they'll probably announce the time for that here pretty soon. But, that was a matchup that a lot of people were looking forward to. But obviously, just a couple days moved back. I believe Baltimore had some more players test positive for the beer bug. So that's the situation there. But that gives us a bit of a flop of a matchup starting early. We got Houston at Detroit. That's going to be 12:30 tomorrow. The Texans are coming off of a win against the Patriots that a lot of people just did not see coming. I didn't really expect that, but maybe that is better speaks to the situation in New England and how they're able to handle success and handle, getting a win. They couldn't string another one together. And you have Houston going into Detroit. Detroit, of course, got goose-egged by the Panthers. They were shut completely out, 0 points. On the tier maker, I got the Texans in the basement, and I got the Lions just trying to keep my job. I think, and just looking at this, at Detroit, and just kind of, you try to soak in what happened to them when they played at Carolina. They got utterly, dominated. Matt Stafford was 18 for 33 for 178 yards. PJ Walker came in. He threw a touchdown for the Panthers, got a win in his first start in the NFL, coming out of the XFL. That's a pretty feel-good story, I guess, right? But PJ Walker threw one touchdown, 24 for 34, 258 yards, one tut, 2 picks. Adrian Peterson, 7 carries, 18 yards. It just was an ugly, ugly, ugly day for the Detroit Lions. But they're 4-6. They're not Jets bad. They're not Jags bad right now. So I'm going to keep them in just trying to keep my job. And for the Texans, after beating New England, if you beat Belichick, I'm going to give you a little boost there. So I'm going to move them up into just trying to keep my job. I think they deserve that little boost there for getting the dub. They got some things done. Still not a very good team. Pretty predictable in how they operate. But I think that's good enough to move them up just a little bit there. I think that's good enough to move them up just a little bit. Now, next game on the schedule, and this one is a long-held tradition, except this year it's going to be a tradition of futility and incompetence for the most part. We got the Washington football team, the redacted football team at Dallas, playing against the Cowboys. Most people, obviously, I'm sure everybody saw it. The Washington football team sent Joe Burrow packing. They played against Cincinnati. They ended up beating Cincinnati. That puts them in a, this is the NFC East we're talking about here. So we're not really talking about teams that are actually putting forth, productive football at the moment, but they got the win there against the Bengals. Joe Burrow's season was ended on an ACL tear, MCL tear, and some structural damage in that left knee, I believe it was. That could be a very, very tough situation for Cincinnati if he's not able to recover full strength. That structural damage part, it does worry me a little bit. I will say that. But Washington, Chase Young, this cat is real deal. He's been doing a damn good job on their defense, playing good ball. They're 3-7, and so are these Cowboys. So for me, and they beat the Vikings. They showed some offensive explosiveness there. They did get a lot of points on the board, but they're also third in the division. And so this is a battle for the bunker among these two teams. So neither team will move from where they are in that matchup. And just to kind of bounce back to that Texans Lions game, I'm going to make my prediction on that now because I want to predict on these games as we go. I'm going with, that one. I'm going to go with the Lions. I'm going with the Lions on that one. I think the Lions, they've had some good Thanksgiving performances. I think they'll get it done in this one. Lions are going to win that game. Now, for the Cowboys and Washington game, in Dallas for Thanksgiving, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give it to the Cowboys on this. But I'm going to put this caveat on top of that. I'm going to put this disclaimer on top of that. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys lose this game. I won't be surprised. But they should win this game. They're at home. It's Thanksgiving. They should be able to get this done. Shouldn't have to worry about the Cowboys beating up on the Washington football team at home in the comfort of Jerry World. They should be able to get something done here. With all those players on that damn team, we see it every year, below average, for the level of talent that they have, strictly below average. And I'm just not going to look past the letdown with Dallas. I'm not going to look past the letdown. So I will pick Dallas for the win, but I won't be surprised if they blow it. And we're moving on. Next game up, we got, and this will be for the Sunday matchups. We got Las Vegas at Atlanta. Woo! Atlanta. My goodness. This is a team that, I don't know where, you don't even really know what to call them at this point. They don't have an identity at all. But then you see flashes of just brilliance in their offensive firepower. And then they don't got a defense that can do a damn thing. Their defense is awful. Their defense is awful. But are they as bad as the Jets? I think that is where the question is. That's where the question lies. Are they as bad as the Jets? Are they as bad as the Jags? If the Jags and the Falcons played against each other right now, could you flip a coin and really be 50-50? The Falcons are going to move down in this division. They're going to move down into the just trying to keep my job space because I think that's where they belong. That's where they belong. There's a lot of teams down here that really, that's just where they're at. They're just one notch above being basement dwellers. That's crazy this year in the NFL, right? Usually the majority, at least in my experience as a player, the majority of teams in the NFL will fall in to this party crasher tier with maybe one or two out of all of these being one win away. So that, there's a lot more balance generally than there is right now in the NFL with a lot of teams. So, you got a ton that are really like just one step away from being hot garbage. So, looking at these, the Falcons should easily be at least good for a cameo, just based on what we know about the roster they have, on at least their offensive firepower. That's where they should be, but they just ain't there. And that has a lot to do with coaching. That's what many people fail to understand, is that does have a lot. That is a coaching. That's what a good coach will find a way to push them above that inconsistency bar that they've been sitting at all season, where they're just here and then here and then here. A good coach will keep them here, and then just slowly they'll start moving that bar a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. And that's when, you become the contender. That's when you really do give yourself the best chance to find that identity that a team needs. They just ain't got it. So I'm going with the Raiders in the matchup, of course, because the Raiders are a few notches culturally and just consistency-wise. They're 2 or 3 notches above Atlanta. So, they can overcome their errors in this game where Atlanta may not be able to because they just lack consistency. So definitely going with the Raiders on this matchup in the tier maker. With that loss they took to Kansas City, it's hard to look at this and keep them in. We should have a shot. I think they do come down. I think they come down to really. That's the kind of loss they took. That's what that loss did to them. They're 1 win away. They went from being, we should have a shot, to being 1 win away. That game that they played, in my opinion, to the Kansas City Chiefs, that was a statement game. If you are a divisional opponent, and if you're a divisional opponent, like the Raiders and the Chiefs, any week that you play against the Chiefs or the Raiders or anybody in that AFC West division, that's a huge game. And for these teams, which are obviously the top 2 in the division, you already beat Kansas City 1 time. To get the sweep on Kansas City means the division is yours. That was their division championship matchup right there. That was for the division championship. And you guys had it. You had it. So to lose it, can we be mad that you lost it? You were going up against Patrick Mahomes. You were going up against somebody who's on a whole nother level with his football IQ and his playmaking ability. And no disrespect to the Raiders, because Derek Carr, really, he's punching above his weight. He was punching above his weight in that entire game. He brought the noise. He brought the noise. He played well. I can't look at that and say, well, he just proved that he can't keep on the level with Patrick Mahomes. He threw 3 touchdowns. The only interception he threw was at the end of the game. Yeah, it was a bad pick. It was a bad throw. It was first play of the last drive to try and make something happen. That was the game-winning drive. Yes, it was a bad throw. But damn, did we really think he was going to get the ball all the way down the field in 38 seconds? Because I think that's all they had left. No. So that loss hurt them big time. That pulls them all the way down to 1 win away. 1 win away. So and I'm picking the Raiders for the matchup against the Falcons, but that's what it is for them right now. Next up, we got Los Angeles Chargers at Buffalo. Ooh, another team that took a gut shot of a loss up against the Arizona Cardinals on the Hail Mary throw to DeAndre Hopkins. That was a gut punch to the Buffalo Bills. No doubt. But they're still in firm. They're still in control. Not absolutely firm, but they've got control of their division. They've got solid control right now. They're still playing good football. And that's the great thing about what's happening with this team, with the Bills. Is that even with these losses, they're still playing great football. They're just not. It's just, it comes down to these last crazy plays, that teams have been able to pull out the wins over them. So I'm going to keep Buffalo in the we should have a shot category. I'm going to keep them there. I mean, it makes more sense to me that I keep them in that because they haven't lost because they had too many self-inflicted wounds. They hadn't lost because, the quarterback, had a bunch of letdowns. They lost literally, and for the most part, due to the fact that they just didn't end up with the ball last. They made the plays they needed to make. They didn't get a stop on defense, but, hey, both offenses are high-powered. What do you expect? So definitely going to keep them on that layer because they've been playing good ball. They ripped off 3 in a row before that, 2 quality wins in it, and they took that loss to the Cardinals, and that's just where it was. So they're going to stay in. They're going to stay in the tier. We should have a shot. Playing against the Chargers, who, they got the win against the Jets last week. They got the win. Wasn't a blowout, but they got the win. And Justin Herbert still playing like a freaking baller right now. The kid had 37 for 49, 366 yards, and 3 touchdown passes. This kid is going to be a superstar. And he's getting protection. That's the difference between what he's got and what Joe Burrow has. In the decision that they made for the Chargers to start this kid, I didn't agree with it. But you could see it in just his style of play, just the way he reads the field, the way he makes these effortless looking throws. They look effortless. And they're on the money. He's got an energy that you can see that he just has it. He's got Keenan Allen out there, receiver, 16 receptions for 145 and a touchdown. You can't deny that he is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. Can't deny that. They've got the formula that you could take a chance and start a young quarterback in that situation. They've got an offensive line that blocks decent enough for him. He's not taking a bunch of crazy blows. They've got some kind of running game. And the quarterback is making good decisions. He's getting the ball out of his hands. He's using the pocket. That's the situation where you can put a guy in and you can see if he can carry the team. And the kid's been carrying the damn team. They just need their defense to do something. So, I think it's going to be a high scoring match. I think that both teams are appropriately set where they should be. San Diego is playing party crasher here. They are playing party crasher. They're playing party crasher. They have an opportunity to really fuck up a lot of what's going on for the Buffalo Bills. If they get this win, if they sneak out this upset, and they do have the offensive firepower to do it. So this is a great matchup that a lot of people should keep their eyes on. They should keep their eyes on because this can determine a lot of things going forward, at least for the Buffalo Bills. They can put their ass up against the blades for real if they don't get this win. So we'll see how that one plays out. But I'm going to go with Los Angeles for the upset. That's going to be my call on this. I'm going to call the Chargers for the upset. Maybe it's just because I am enamored by Justin Herbert and how he's been carrying the team and playing on, as a quarterback, as a rookie player. His skill set, even in its raw state, is just highly advanced. And I'll bet some money on him. I'll put money on him that he can make something happen and pull off an upset against Buffalo. Because, from Buffalo, all you need is one off day by Josh Allen, and could be a tight one. Next up, we got New York at Cincinnati. New York at Cincinnati, I don't even know. I mean, this is going to be an ugly one. Has Daniel Jones progressed any further since last we saw him? I don't know. You think that in a situation like the one that they're in, where they've lost they've lost one of the foundations of their offense in Saquon Barkley. And yes, they did get the win against the Eagles. Now they got 2 in a row. But where is that really putting them? I mean, Daniel Jones only went 21 for 28 for 244 yards, didn't throw a touchdown. He rushed for a touchdown. But I mean, it was about as good as Carson Wentz did in that game. It was about as ugly a game as you could possibly imagine. And it didn't really change my opinion either way about the Giants. The Giants are still just trying to keep their jobs. I think they stay there. I think that's appropriate. Cincinnati, my goodness. Let's take a look here. So they lose their quarterback. He's done. Brandon Allen is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's coming off the practice squad. Man. Oh, man. I mean, like I said, this is a team that gives up a ton of sacks. They gave up 32 sacks that led to their quarterback being done. Whoa. This is worst case scenario for Cincinnati. I'm sorry. This is worst case scenario. They go down. They're basement dwellers now. That's what they are. That's what they are. We've got to accept that. That's the reality that they live in right now. They're basement dwellers. New York, you're still where you are. We're not moving you. You haven't done enough to even be close to being a party crasher. You are definitely basement dwellers now, Cincinnati. I'm sorry, but welcome to that tier. Your tier is now assigned basement dweller. Moving on, Tennessee at Indianapolis. This, my friends, this one right here is pretty much for all the marbles. Yeah, this is what it is for the AFC South. Winner, and let's see here. We got 7-3 Tennessee. We got 7-3 Indianapolis. Yeah, this is for everything. Indianapolis is technically sitting at the top of the division, but the winner of this one will more than likely determine the winner of the division and who's going to the playoffs. I'm going to go with my reliable judgment on this. I'm going to go with my reliable judgment, and I'm going to say that it's going to be the Titans who get this win. That's how I feel. I feel like that is. I feel like that's a call I can make. They're not going to lose to the Colts twice. They're not going to get swept by the Colts. Not after how they've been playing. Outside of that loss, they've been playing phenomenal football. I mean, let's not say phenomenal. That's strong. But they've been playing damn good football. So they've won 2 out of their last 3. And this is the home stretch. They got the Colts, the Browns, the Jags, Lions, Packers, and then the Texans that finish out the season. And this is a statement game. Who controls this division? It's a statement game. I think Phillip Rivers is going to give away one of their last games down the stretch, because that's what Phillip Rivers does. He gives away games. He makes a lot of plays. He's got a great deep ball, but he gives away games that put them in precarious positions. That happened in San Diego when they were with the Chargers in San Diego for a long time. And I don't see that being different here. He doesn't really have better receiving core than he had in, with the Chargers. So I'm going to go with the Titans on this one. I think that they stay where they are in the tiers. I think they stay where they are. I think that they're both kind of trying to vie for the we should have a shot category. But right now, the Colts, they're 1 win away from being in either one of those 2 categories above it. That's how I feel. I think that's fair to say. So we're going to keep them there. Now, next up on the schedule, Carolina at Minnesota. Carolina at Minnesota. Carolina shut out. Whoops. Am I hitting there? Oh. Carolina shutting out Detroit. They definitely get to move up for that. I mean, that's fine. I'm good with that. We'll put you in Party Crasher. I think that's fine. But Minnesota took a bad L to the Cowboys. Took a bad L. So I think they stay where they are. They're just trying to keep their job. I am going to call this one. I mean, they've got Dalvin Cook over there in Minnesota. I don't think that we're going to see the Panthers shut out Minnesota. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota on this one. I'm gonna go with Minnesota. That's my pick for this game. Minnesota's got that. They're gonna be at home. I give them benefit on that. Next up, Arizona at New England. This one, this is a match. I mean, this is not. I don't think this is going to be a close one. I think Arizona dominates New England. I think they dominate them. And if New England loses again, they might be going down. I'm gonna give them the Belichick benefit. I'm not gonna pull them down, but they're playing with fire. They are playing with fire. They lose again, they're going down. They're going down. And I'm definitely picking Arizona to win this game. Arizona's going to win this game. I feel like that's a safe bet for me. I feel like that's a safe bet. We got a super chat over here, RC from NYC for $10. RC from NYC, what's up, Uche? What's up, chat? Hope everyone is safe. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Happy Thanksgiving, RC from NYC. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Hope you guys are staying safe. It's a wild one this year, guys, but we'll make it. But yeah, definitely got Arizona in the matchup against New England. Next up, we got Miami at the Jets, at New York playing against the Jets. I think that, Miami is with Tua Tagovailoa doing what he did, talking all that noise, and then coming out and getting benched, all against a team that they should have, in my opinion, beaten like stepchildren. To lose that game and put yourself and really kind of halt all momentum that you had, create unnecessary controversy and distraction. And now you're back into fighting to keep up with Buffalo, yeah, you drop down to 1 win away. You drop down to 1 win away. I think that they needed that win to keep pace, and just the momentum that they had coming off of their last game with Tua performing the way he did. They needed to keep that momentum going. That hype train has kind of come to a halt right now. So I'm going to go with Miami getting the win against the Jets. Absolutely. And they're sitting down there in basement dwellers because that's where they fucking belong. But very disappointed in how Miami handled that game and how they lost to Denver the way they did. Very, very, very disappointed with that. Next up, Cleveland at Jacksonville. Woo! I mean, Cleveland beat the hell out the Eagles. Jacksonville, just a goddamn mess. They got the hell beat out of them by the Steelers. I don't even know who the hell their quarterback is. Glennon, whatever. They suck. They're in the basement. They're going to stay in the basement. They're going to get smacked around. Cleveland wins by 7. Cleveland, they're still in good for a cameo. These guys will make an appearance if they can keep doing what they're doing. But let's move on to the next game. We've got New Orleans at Denver. Now, New Orleans, I'm going to go ahead and make them my pick for this game, mainly because I was impressed with Taysom Hill and how he played against Atlanta. I thought those guys did a hell of a job. Didn't expect him to have, all world passing numbers, but his running touchdowns are of equal stature to me as Drew Brees throwing a touchdown. So his ability to score running is as good as a pass, is what I'm trying to say. So I really do like how he played last week. And he made good decisions. Started off the first drive a little shaky, but he made some good decisions, made some good throws, made some good runs, ate a bad play when he didn't need to try and make something happen. And that's what you want. You want a quarterback who's going to manage the game when they know you got to know who you are. I'm not going to just sling the ball around here for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. That ain't going to happen. But I will sling the ball around in these 5 to 10 yard windows, and I will run that read option and get 12 yards a carry, and I'm going to do what I got to do, and we're going to win the game because our defense is going to play good too because they know they got to play good. They don't have the luxury of a Drew Brees out there. So definitely looking at it from that perspective, I think that you keep the teams themselves where they are. I think Denver moves up to party crasher, actually, because that was a good win against a team that you shouldn't have beat, a team that you shouldn't even have really been competitive with based on how they've been playing the past few weeks. But I'll move them up. And see, now this is getting a little bit more balanced. This just trying to keep my job tier is getting a little bit more balanced out, which is what I was hoping would happen, because there's usually that kind of balance with how teams are performing throughout the season. It just happened to be that in the past couple of weeks, a lot of teams were looking really bad. So, it's good to see that, that there's a little bit more progress from that. But the Saints defense does tend to play a little bit better when they don't have Drew Brees out there. I think that's more of we got to take pride in what we do. We got to pick up our slack. And I'm not saying that they're consciously just slacking out there when Drew Brees is actually playing. But when you got a superstar like that, sometimes you don't worry too much if a play, if you give up points or give up a big play, because that at the very worst we can respond and get points in return on the offensive end. So I'll keep the Saints where they are. They should have a shot. and Denver moves up to party crasher. But I'm also making my pick for the Saints in this game. Now, next game up, San Fran at Los Angeles. This should be a beatdown of epic proportions by the Rams against the Niners. It should be. Right now, the Rams are playing. Everything's coming together. Everything is coming together very solidly for this team. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Bucks. You know, these guys have won 3 out of their last 4. There is an opportunity to build up enough momentum to make these last 2 games against the one division opponent that you have to deal with. That you have to deal with in the Arizona Cardinals to be able to take them on 2 times in basically 4 weeks. 2 times in 5 weeks. 4 weeks, yeah. You're going to have to play these guys twice in 4 weeks. You're going to need to have your momentum to get those wins. You're going to need to have your execution. You're going to need to have consistency. You can't go limping into those games. And I think that that starts with this game that they're playing right now against the Niners. You got to blow them out, get it done. Don't use too much energy and make it a quick, bloody death for the Niners and get ready. Don't look past them. Just blow them the hell out and get ready for the home stretch, because you're gonna have to pull some big games out your ass after that. But looking at them right now, I'm going to move these Rams up because of these last 2 clutch wins that they've had. I'm going to move them up into we should have a shot. And the Niners are still just trying to keep my job. I think that even if they had, they're not getting rid of their coach right now. It's not a situation where they're going to blow the team up right now. They need a couple pieces. They need to get healthy because they are damaged to bits. And then, they can regroup next year and see what they can do. I mean, yeah, we all know you guys kind of fell the fuck off the map when it came to this Super Bowl hangover. But, hey, it is what it is. It's too late now at this point to even think about that. Just try and get to the end of this thing quickly as you can. But moving on, we got Kansas City at Tampa. Woo. I mean, I'm obviously going to go with Kansas City in this, but Tampa Bay, you want to talk about inconsistency. This is a team that can't win at night and can't win against great competition consistently enough to really be taken seriously. And in this game, I don't see them being able to rebound again from another disappointing loss, because it's like win, okay, they're about to be good, loss. Win, okay, they're about to be good, loss. We keep seeing that from these Bucks. They lost to the Bears, they lost to the Saints, they lost to the Rams. They're 7-4, but right when you're getting ready to anoint them, they go on a 3-game streak and you're getting ready to anoint them, and they get manhandled by the Saints. And then they beat the Panthers, whatever. They put up 46 points, but so what? They should have put up 46 points against the Panthers. They shouldn't have given up 23. I know that. But then they play the Rams, and this is a matchup that's a true barometer test for these cats. This is a matchup to truly see where they are, what exactly is this team really made of, because now they're playing up against a solid opponent. What are they going to do? They lose. They get their ass fucking wiped out. And now they're going up against the Chiefs? I don't think so. Matter of fact, they're 1 win away. They're coming back down. Chiefs are where they are for a reason. They are where they are for a reason. And that's that. I'm going with the Chiefs on that one. Now we got Chicago at Green Bay. Oh, the funny thing about this, Chicago at Green Bay, is I think this is actually a toss-up game. This is a 50-50 game. This is a 50-50 game. 50-50 game for these teams. I think either one could pull it out. I mean, because the Packers are that kind of team that can fuck this up. I'm sorry, that's what they are. They are the team that can fuck this situation up. They are still in a good situation, and they could still find a way to screw this all up. Now, the Bears, man, the Bears are 4 losses in a row deep right now. 4 losses. They're on a 4-game skid. And you know what? If there is one team they can get it against and get back into the win column with, it's going to be Green Bay. Because we've seen Green Bay. We've seen this story before. You don't even have to. We can tell you how this story can end very quickly with Green Bay. They can just fuck this whole shit up on this week. You know what I mean? Like we know that they can do that. Now, I don't expect that. But we know they can. So I'm going to keep both teams where they are. 1 win away for the Bears. We should have a shot for Green Bay, even with the loss last week. But I don't see them. I don't see them doing it. But maybe it's just I like pain and I'm willing to just go against my that little nudging in the back of my head telling me that these guys can screw this up. Don't think it's such a sure bet, but I'm going to go with them. Green Bay for the win against Chicago at home against Chicago. And the Chicago Bears will soon. And look, you can't be 1 win away. Honestly, let's be honest here. You can't be 1 win away when you've lost 4 in a row. So we'll actually move them down to party crasher. Because now they've kind of fallen. They're back a couple paces in regards to the division. So we'll keep them at party crasher. That's what they can be. That's where the Bears. That's where they're best suited right now. We'll keep them there. And finally, on Monday, November 30th, we got Seattle at Philadelphia. This is playing out one of 2 ways in my eyes. A blowout, or Carson Wentz gets hurt and it's a close game because the backup comes in and does something. Because Carson Wentz right now is just a mess. The kid's a mess. The kid is a mess. And he ain't got no blocking. I don't even know who his receivers are anymore. It's a mess for Philadelphia. I don't even think being at home is an advantage. They just are a mess, top to bottom. They are teetering on basement dweller. Teetering on basement dweller. Teetering on it. Oh my goodness. But then you got the Seahawks. The Seahawks are not. They got a good win against the Cardinals, but they're 2-2 in their last 4 games. They played against again. These are all teams that I imagine will be seeing each other in a month, in a month and a half. Bills, Rams, they lost to them. Cardinals, they lost to them. They came back. They got the second game against the Cardinals. But they're a team that is still got to see us first. Nobody in their division has been able to actually dethrone them. Like it's the Cardinals were the ones we thought could do it, and they had their shot, and they didn't do it. This is why Seattle's not a team you bet against. I don't bet against Seattle. That's bad money. You're not going to win. That's hard to win money betting against Seattle. You know what I mean? So I'm not betting against them here neither. They're going to beat the hell out of Philadelphia. And when they do, Philadelphia is going into basement dwellers when they do. When they do. If they win by more than 10 points, Philadelphia is going into basement dwellers. How about that? So that does it. Oh, and let me see here. Actually, I did not actually give my Baltimore-Pittsburgh look. This one definitely deserves a quick look. Sorry about that. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. We don't know exactly when on Sunday that game's going to be, but Baltimore. Oh my God, Baltimore. The fucking jig is up. They've lost 3 out of their last 4. They've already lost to the Steelers at home, and now they're going into Heinz Field, and they actually believe that they're going to pull a win out in Pittsburgh? Nah, I don't see that happening. Pittsburgh, 10-0, undefeated. I think they keep it going. I think they do indeed keep it going this week with, being an undefeated record, a record with no blemishes. I think they keep it going. I think Baltimore has a lot of soul searching to do. They have been struggling. And I mean, if they lose this one and drop 3 in a row, they're going to go down into the 1 win away because they're probably not going to make the playoffs if they lose this game. Probably not going to make the playoffs. I think that's safe to say. So that is the tier ranking for this week's games, NFL Week 12. These are where the teams stand after 11 weeks of action. You have your basement dwellers all the way up to the gotta see us first category at the very top. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you smash the like button on this video and helping my channel get blessed by the algorithm gods. I appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the Hump Day tier maker rankings for NFL Week 12 games. I will catch you all on the next one next week. Peace.